Hello, primers. I got this clear primer from Mission Models, and I probably used about 1/10 of it. Well, I probably used about half of the 10th, so I probably used about 5% of it, and I primed 15 models, so I could probably prime about 300 models with a bottle of this stuff. And it said to use their primer, but I didn't want to wait for it to be shipped and everything. And the primer wasn't very expensive at all. I believe it's made in the USA. Yep, Burbank, California. So it's made in the US. And I used another US product, US Art Supply Thinner and Flow Improver. And it said to thin it 25% for the airbrush. I thinned it probably more than that, probably about 33%. I used about half of the 33% of thinner and half the 33% of flow improver. And it was real thick and gloppy, like glue. Yeah, you can see it. You can definitely see that in the camera. Look at how viscous it is. And then when I thinned it, it's nice and thin, right? And I was worried, of course, about the white color that's in the thinner, but they came out nice and clear. One thing that I think is in this US Art Supply thinner is maybe Calcifluor, a fluorescent chemical. I'll get my UV flashlight out and find out. But it looks UV when I spill it on the deck. So I was worried about it coming out kind of whitish, and I was like, well, that'll just make them look more ghostly, at least for the Nighthaunt, so I was okay with that. Now, I'm not crazy enough to put that diluted stuff back into the original bottle in case it chemically reacts later on. And if it does, I'll make a video of it. I'm gonna pour it into this separate container right here. Now, one thing that's worrying me is the models came out glossy. So I think you can definitely see that the models are glossy. And to work as a primer, I would think it has to be a rough surface for the paint to have teeth, as artists say. And they definitely, and I think you can really see it on the StormCast, how glossy they are. But I will make another video with how well it goes with painting these guys. So if the paint just really doesn't want to stick, and the StormCast that I spray painted that were blue, and there wasn't really a lot of blue parts on them, so I didn't want to leave them blue, that I spray painted gold, the paint had a hard time covering that, or at least the Arteco really didn't, but the Citadel paint had trouble covering that gold metallic. So that was kind of problematic. I think they turned out okay in the long run, but it was certainly better with some paints than others. And a lot of people say that metallic paint is not compatible with other paints, so I'm starting to see that too, right? So they look kind of glossy, but I wanted to leave them kind of this color because they're molded and colored plastic, and I wanted to make the painting easier and just leave them somewhat this color. Leave them, these guys, somewhat gold. They're got a lot of gold armor, and these guys I would leave like some blue and kind of paint like white ethereal looking over it with some iridescent paint. And I'll make another video with how they turn out. So, Mission Models Clear Primer. It could be a thing. I also got some reddish brown too, because I had to buy, or I had to pay for a lot of shipping for red brown to come in Viejo surface primer from Spain. So I had to pay a lot of shipping for that. So I didn't bite on that, and I bought it from Mission Models instead. So they got a lot of different colors of primers and paints, so maybe that'll be a thing in my future. Thank you, primers.